If you're not where you want to be yet in any area of your life, it's not because you don't have the willpower. It's not because you don't know what to do. It's because you're not yet being the version of you need to be to make it all happen. So today we're going to be talking about the parts of you that lift you up and those parts of you that are holding you back. I'm going to show you how to identify which is which, because sometimes they can be sneaky and try and fool you. And I'm also going to show you how you can really work them all through so that your true self, that identity that you really want, can come through. So before we dive into all of this, let me give you this. That identity that you want to step into, the one that loves the body that you have, the one that runs the business of your dreams with unshakable confidence, the one that is in relationships that bring you massive joy, and the one who never doubts themselves and always trusts that they are going to make the right decisions. That identity is already within you. That version of you already exists. But that core self, who you really are and who you want to be next, can't rise to the surface if you are consistently and subconsciously fueling those parts of you that want to keep you settling for less, playing small, and holding you back. You're going to hear me say this a lot. This life that you are leading right now, the one where you're feeling stuck and you're frustrated because you're just not getting to where you want to be, it's because you're allowing those parts of you, those beliefs that are no longer serving you, rise to the surface. And I'm going to show you how you can turn that around so that you can make the shifts you want to be happening happen. Hey, welcome to Start Over and Rise. I'm Sara Burton, your Start Over coach, and this is the safest place for you to be starting over and rising from anything that is not working in your life right now that you want to change. This is definitely the space where we stop settling and we start creating and designing the life that we truly want to be leading. So in today's episode, I'm taking you through my own lived experiences of midlife reinvention. Everything that I teach and show you through these episodes is not theory. It is lived experience. Change doesn't start on the outside. It's not about willpower, discipline, and forcing yourself to do things. There are elements of that, but that's only after you have made those changes within you. That is where true transformation starts. It starts with you taking on the identity of the person you need to be in order to make the changes that you want. And it's not just about needing to be that person. You want to be embodying that identity so that you can enjoy the process, because then it makes everything so much easier. So through my systems and my frameworks, I help clients make change fast. And I can do the same for you. To really make sustainable change, lasting change, you don't need more willpower. You don't need to build self-trust. That comes after this first step. You need to stop the push and pull within yourself. You need to get hold of those parts of you that really need to stop arguing with each other. So as a whole, you can become this evolved identity that allows you to be unstoppable and unshakable in everything that you want to make happen. So I'm going to take you through 3 initial big shifts. And by the end of this episode, you are going to be fully equipped to make a start on investigating who you really are and who you want to be next. Number 1, you have to recognize and accept that you are actually holding yourself back. So I'm going to be honest with you here. Change can't happen if you don't own this part of the pattern. And the first thing that you can do is start to recognize what those patterns are. Look at your behavior and be honest about what is really going on here. So, for example, maybe you want to be losing weight. You go out, you buy the foods, you decide what diet you're going to follow. You do okay for a few days, but then you realize that you're following a sabotage pattern, one that takes you back to the shops, takes you flying past the healthy foods and straight into the chocolate and crisps aisle. Now, I'm saying that one because that has been a very familiar pattern to me in the past. Something may have happened in that day and you feel that you deserve a treat. You've had a horrible day. This will make you feel better and you can always start again tomorrow. It may be that you really want to grow your business, but the reality is you're not being consistent with your social media, or you are not making the videos that you need to make, or you are not doing the tasks that are going to move the needle forward in your business and help you get the results you actually want. You're avoiding doing them. Now, these are just two examples, but they're both very, very strong because you can dress them up in all sorts of ways. But at the end of the day, it's you avoiding the thing that you really need to face and do to make the change. Now, here's a little truth bomb for you. That avoidance is orchestrated by a part of you that wants to protect you. It's a part of you that maybe it doesn't want to lose the weight. Maybe it doesn't want you to have the successful business. And that is where we go to next. But first, we have to recognize that this is actually going on. But being able to approach it with a sense of compassion, with curiosity, and in a calm way can really help you uncover what discomfort is it trying to protect you from. And I totally understand these forces from within you can be so powerful, almost overwhelming. But the longer you go letting these parts of you run the show, the worse the problem gets and the further away from that goal you are. So how do we change this? We need to take out some time to contemplate, to think about it, maybe journal about it, whatever your chosen tool is. And incidentally, that is a part of the work that I do. I help you decipher what is the best way for you to go detective and really uncover what's going on. So to change it, you need to spend that time and you've got to dialogue with this part of you. Now, it's often quite natural for us to feel really frustrated that this is going on because we don't necessarily understand it. So I want you to approach this with some compassion, with some curiosity, and with a sense of calm. Maybe even when you hear that voice that says, no, you deserve this. You've worked hard all week. Have this as a treat. Maybe you can start by saying, but this isn't a treat because this isn't working out for me. What is it you're trying to protect me from? And then listen. Or if you're journaling, let it just flow out. Because that, my friend, is where the answer is. So number 2 comes in 2 parts, and it's most likely that already you have done the first part, and that is to decide who it is you need to be to get to where you want to be. Sounds simple, right? But if you're telling me that you know what that is, then I want you to ask the question, why are you not being them consistently? So here's the thing, let's go back to this process. Who do you want to be? Write it all down. Now, some of the most popular ones that come up for many people is, I want to be at peace. I want to feel calm. I want to be able to relax. I want to have a successful business. I want to feel happy. I want to feel confident in everything that I do. But then often what can happen is it starts subconsciously and then comes louder and louder. You will hear an internal dialogue that starts to tell you, yeah, but you can't have that. You've tried to be like that before and it's not going to happen now. And it can sound like you've got those mean girls right inside trying to hold you back every step of the way. So I'm going to share this with you because, again, this is something that I have achieved that many people ask me about. I did this with my weight for many, many years. Now, I'm going to share this with you because this is something that really let me test all of these theories and my 5-step identity transformation framework. I recently lost 3 stone. Now, that is a lot of weight, and maybe you have more, maybe you have less. But if you have ever told yourself that you want to be losing weight and then find yourself just not doing it, you might convince yourself, as I did, that actually it's not the most important thing in the world. I'm okay as I am. I used to let other people tell me, you don't need to lose any weight, you look fine. But the thing was, it wasn't just about that. I didn't feel fine. Carrying around an extra 3 stone is heavy. I lift weights now that are of that equivalent, and they feel heavy. And when I imagine what it was like before, going about my day carrying around this extra weight, it really hits home. For years and years and years, I said I wanted to lose it. I knew what I had to do, I just wasn't doing it. And it wasn't until I started to question, hang on a minute, I keep saying I want this, but I'm not doing this. Why? What is holding me back? And I started to question myself and listen to the answers that came out. I'm not going to lie, I was quite surprised. I heard these 3 things. Because you're older and you lose that weight, you're going to have loose skin, and that's not going to look very nice. That's number 1. The second one was, how can I possibly never eat crisps again? Now, you might not have to do that, but for me and what was going on with my body and the reactions that I was having to that level of carbs, I knew that was a way that I had to go. But because crisps and chocolate and bread, thick bread, had been such a comfort food for me for so long, I was worried about how was I going to cope without that crutch. And the third thing that I kept telling myself was that I don't have enough discipline for this. I have tried it so many times, and I don't think I can take the disappointment of failing again over this. So once I started to accept that this is what was actually going on, it was so much easier for me to decide that is not the person that I want to be. That is not the identity that I want to carry with me forward. So after accepting that that was what I was hearing, I decided that I needed to counteract those beliefs because they were not serving me. Keeping hold of those beliefs that was really what was going to happen, even though some of those are true. In fact, all of them are true. But I wanted to honor that woman who knew that losing the weight was going to help me become a healthier person, the person that I want to be now and in the future, so that I can live the life that I want, so that I can do the activities that I want, so that I will have the energy and the pride and the feeling about myself that I want to be experiencing. And that's when everything shifted. That's when my new habits that I decided I was going to do stuck. They didn't feel hard work. They felt totally natural because these were the things that the identity of who I wanted to be just did. It was part of their lifestyle. It was a part of their daily routine. And that's when the weight shifted because I went from knowing to doing rather than knowing and just not doing it. And so this takes me on to number 3. Now, back in 2018, I think it was, maybe 2019, I did a TEDx talk. And part of that was that I pointed out that in order for us to do the things that other people won't do to get the results that we want, you have to make your why bigger than your fear. I have been saying this for many, many years because it's true. So if you're interested in that and you want to go and listen to my TEDx talk, I'll make sure that the link is in the description and the show notes. Go take a look. You will see a very different me back then. For a start, it's under my married name as Sara Mosley, but so much has changed since I did that talk. But at the same time, so much that is in that talk, I didn't even realize was going to be fundamental to all of the changes that I needed to make to get me to this point here right now. When your why becomes bigger than your fear, change becomes inevitable. So let's just take that example of the weight loss. Here's what my why looked like. Genuinely, I wanted to love myself again, properly, inside and out. I wanted to be a better role model for my children. I wanted to show them that I do respect and love and care for my body and how I show up in the world. I'm not from the school, do as I say and not as I do. And as the years were going by and I wasn't looking after my body enough, I felt I was giving out the wrong message. So first I wanted to do it for myself, but I also wanted to do it for them. Children don't necessarily take on board what we say, but they definitely take on board what we do. And then they can make their own judgments for themselves based on the evidence that they see. Another part of my why that was so big was I want to live a healthy and longer life. I want to be around for my grandchildren. I want to enjoy this next stage in my life where the children are grown and flown and I've got so much more time. I want to be active within my business. I wanted to be fit for purpose. And when I looked at my two options, one is to make the changes and step into that identity that's going to take me to there, or the other is to stay where I am and just gain more and more weight. And for me, just become more miserable, more disappointed in myself, and less mobile, less active, and more injuries. After that, it's a no-brainer when you put it into perspective. Once I got clear on my whys and then became wise, it was clear that I needed to be someone different. I needed to evolve my identity in order to make that shift happen. Now, I've just made that sound really easy. And when you've done this work, that is exactly how it's going to feel. You are going to start to find the evidence of you in this new identity and how it is being successful. Every half pound you lose, every bit of further exercise that you do, every extra walk that you take, every extra meal that you make from scratch, all of those things, and you enjoying them and feeling the benefits and seeing the results just builds that momentum. And it's that you need to remind yourself of, because that is so much more powerful than letting yourself slide into old habits that are no longer serving you, that take you back to that place. It's a wonderful feeling when all of this starts to come together and that little part of you that does want the crisps just disappears because they're no longer needed, because you're getting better results by following the newer identity, the new way forward. It's incredible. The minute you start to become conscious of this, you will start to feel it. So whatever the changes that you want to make, don't worry too much about what is it you've got to do to actually make the changes. Think about the identity is that you need to embody to make it all happen. It starts with a bit of embodiment and then it just becomes something that is so natural to you. It becomes who you are. So find your reasons why you want to make that change, write them down, go into as much detail as you possibly can, make them properly visible to you every single day. Make sure you keep that dialogue going with that part of you that wants to hold you back, but also that part of you, that core self part of you that really wants to move on from this. You can take them with you. You can turn them around and help them become your biggest supporter. Sounds crazy, I know, but trust me on this, it really, really works. You get to choose who you get to be next, no one else. So if it is that time, start now with those 3 steps. Okay, so let's have a little recap there. The first one is start recognizing the sabotage. Start recognizing the patterns, the words, the thoughts that are in your head that are encouraging you to hold back, to play small, to settle for less. Start to recognize that that's happening and then start to have a dialogue with it to see what's going on. What are they protecting you from? What is the fear? The next step is a little further along. Decide who it is that you want to be, because let me tell you, you know already who it is that you want to be. So start honoring that. And if you're not honoring it, ask yourself again, why are you not being that person that you want to be? What is stopping you from doing that? Because there is where the clues of what it is that you really need to change. And number 3, really understand your whys and make them bigger than your fears. And in that TEDx talk, there is an example. It involves a boat in the Mediterranean, a swimsuit, and me jumping off the side of a boat. And you will see where my why became bigger than my fear of actually doing that. So go check that out and let me know what you think. Just an example for you. So there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is you can turn this around very, very quickly if you invest in you and put that contemplation time into place. The bad news is there is no magic pill to this. The only way that you can get from where you are now to where you want to be is by doing this work. You will know when the time is right to do this work because there will be a specific moment, a grounded moment. You may say it silently to yourself. You may say it with massive emotion behind it. But the general gist is this. I am no longer prepared to stay the same. I'm ready to make shift happen. And that's the beginning. That's the beginning of your transformation. That is the beginning of your identity changing into who you need to be and be able to enjoy becoming that person. It won't feel a chore. You won't need massive willpower. You will just need a strategic plan because you'll be ready to do it. Now, if you've been nodding along to this and you want to give it a go yourself, then please, by all means, do and let me know how you get on. But if you would like to go the rest of your journey with some guidance and some support and a community around you, all of my work is based around the Start Over and Rise system. And integrated into that is the 5-step identity transformation framework. We'll take you through a process to start with, which is all about the start over, getting you ready for fresh starts and changing your way of thinking. Then we dive in. Step 1 is stop the noise. Step 2 is sort the crap. Step 3 is shape your next chapter. Step 4 is shift onto the right path. And then step 5 is having you soar into freedom. It's a wonderful process. It's taken me years to formulate and test and pull everything together on it, but it works like a dream. So if you want to know more, check out the show notes, or if you're on YouTube, take a look in the description and you will find 4 different ways I recommend. Some are free and some are paid for, that I can help you make your shift happen so that you can start over and rise from where you are right now, from what's not working, and rise into what will. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so very grateful. And if you got value from today, please like and subscribe or follow the podcast, because there's more of this content coming and I want to support you in any way I can. Midlife and beyond is a time of excitement. It's a time for you to fully bloom into who you want to be. And I am here to support you every step of the way. I'll see you on the next episode. You take care.